Hey everyone, I'm Tassinix, and welcome to Plotting and Scheming. We'll be covering Season 54, 3 versus 3, Grand Arena, Week 3. I'm joined by my co-hosts, TJ and Sasha Isha. Dagger is usually the fourth member of our merry band, but he's tied up and couldn't make it today. How you guys doing?
Doing well, Tass. Doing well.
Yeah, how'd the week end up for you, Sasha? How'd you do?
It's second straight week of very little substance. I went 2-1, but in reality, kind of 0-1. I only had one real match, and even that match, I decided to get a little more creative with it rather than playing straightforward. So some fun stuff coming out of it, but
So,
light on content.
so let me ask you, Sasha, are you doing that because you're tired of playing at the top and there's nothing there for you, and you're trying to adjust? Because I think you took adjusted liberties, and I'm just going to assume, right? We all know what that does out of you and me. You did that because you're tired of playing the people who don't need to be at the top.
A bit of it. You know what? There's an aspect of that, but it's about I'm playing the same folks. I played Cyrus again, and he and I have been messaging about it. It's like Groundhog Day. So yeah, there's a little bit of it, and just kind of frustrated with that current dynamic. Like if I really was determined to drop down, I could drop my matches against the Rhodiums. Although, frankly, for that you have to be really cautious, never to touch the board at all. But yeah, so a bit of it, TJ. Yeah.
That's fair. Well, how about you, TJ? How'd your week go?
It was good, man. I had good players, 2-1. The first one, I'll say he didn't play, so let's call it what it is, right? So I'll take the free win. Had a good opponent, light side rules. Wanted to try stuff that didn't work, which is okay. I was all right with what I learned, which is cool. And then the other stuff was the whole 15% of I'm gonna throw my phone. It's gonna be that type of fight. So I was okay with it.
Okay, all right. Well, for my part, I went 1-2. I had two legitimate matches and lost them both, so I won my freebie. Bully for me. Good lessons learned, though. You know, not all for naught, and I had a lot of fun doing it. And then to close out the stream, I had that Erodium, so I was able to stream a match of two of my patrons that got matched up, and that was a good fight. About a 4-hour stream, but a damn good fight. You know, besides. Anyways, guys, let's go ahead and move into segment 1, meta-analysis. Now, I think we're dealing with known quantities at this point, so I don't think there's anything too groundbreaking, but I myself wanted to make a couple notes. First, about fighting Gungans. So this is assuming the prime composition, Boss Nass, Jar Jar, Gungan Phalanx, with the Jar Jar Kron. I was once again successful using Padme, Shakti, and Ahsoka. There is a point in the fight where Padme gets a lot of focus. She gets low. It is possible that she could die. Mine is thick enough, has enough health, like I want to say closer up to 110,000 health at Relic 8. And that allowed her to stick around long enough for Shakti to come around to her next turn, use her third to heal up Padme. Then we very quickly closed out the fight with, stabilized Padme, like 56 banners. I mention this, though, because even though I did this week and last week successfully, I watched my patron try the very same thing, and his Padme got closed out, just not bulky enough to endure that middle part of the fight, waiting for that next Shakti turn. So I just wanted to call that out. And TJ, I know you had a note on Gungans you wanted to throw in right here.
Yeah, I think what I learned is, we talked about it, and I did a super fail last week when I did Treya on Gungans, right? When we look at through the data, and I really do feel like that Jar Jar Kron is the creme de la creme option, because my opponent put the Boss Nass Kron on, and it went nothing like that, and it's like the dispelling of the protection, and not like, so it was a super easy, clean 57. I really think, I think it should still be out. We should be fine for the next set of threes, but it's just noting that it's like, if you're going to try to avoid, I think, the Treya and really putting that strain on that option, that, well, I guess, and Padme, right? It can do, but if you're going to try to do that, you're going to have the Jar Jar Kron on it as the option and not the boss one. I just feel like that Jar Jar Kron is so strong.
Yeah. So basically, you're saying it's free money if you're not going to set down that.
Oh,
Jar
it
Jar.
was. Fight was like 3 minutes. Like I still had 3 minutes remaining, and I was talking you through what I was doing because I didn't have time to get on it. But I never felt like I was any point of any danger with Trey, which is great, right? That felt like a really solid way to go in, and it was all relic 8s and 9s, so like relic comparison, it was a match, and I think I was even a little bit lower. I think a 7 on like a Savage or something like that. So it was for me about to do that and go in and feel that way. Yeah, felt really good.
Okay, dig that. How about you? Any new lessons learned fighting Gungans yourself, Sasha, or you only had the one real match, so I don't know.
Yeah, I only had the one match. I brought Treya, Nihilus, and Savage, and it felt really comfortable. It was a Jar Jar DC level 9, so I knew that at least the data said there was some risk. I think maybe I had some targeting luck. It wasn't an issue, so that went smooth for a 57.
And we discussed that last week, right? That counter, if you are taking it against Jar Jar, looks like it's about a 66% win rate. And where does that 1/3 fail condition come from? If they decide to prop disruption your Treya and delete her, that's probably all she wrote for you. But if it doesn't happen that way, then good stuff.
The one combo that I haven't seen, and we should let the listeners know, we're recording this before the third week of 3v3 data is out on .gg, so we don't quite have access to that, but the level 9 Datacron and comp that I'm kind of curious about, I can see why it might not work, but the Tarpals and Tarpals level 9, so Tarpals instead of Phalanx, just because Tarpals seems to do pretty decent damage, and that level 9 is, Tarpals assists on every Gungan move and does 50% more damage, that I wonder if that's sufficient to do it. Like, if it just hits often enough and hard enough.
Let me ask you this, though. If you're telling me he's always going to assist, wouldn't that make Padme even a bit? Oh, I'm just saying, no, if you're saying Tarpals is always going to assist, right? Wouldn't that make Padme the better setup and even more optimal, knowing that each time he's going to go in no matter what?
That's true. You're getting a prod up and reducing his damage to 1. So for Padme counter, it certainly sounds pretty safe. Great point, TJ.
That's an insightful comment, TJ, because now you guys point out something really interesting, the two of you. There's a trade-off to be made there to see if you can threaten lesser counters with the sheer damage that the Tarpals crowd offer versus the time consumed and the delay incurred by fighting against Phalanx.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Did you guys have anything else on the Gungans?
The only thing I'd add, pure speculation, is that I think TJ's spot on that Padme is all the more bulletproof against it with Tarpals. But if you were going to turn the Gungans over to an offensive team, and where at times I think with that comp I have very little experience with it, but it seems like DPS might be one of the challenges. Are you just pumping out enough damage that there I could
or the armor pen? It's definitely Tarpals, and it's just the high armor pen. It's just the amount of power that it gets hit, and it's 100% Tarpals is the one you want to do it with the setup. If you go look at the numbers, what it kills. So Dagger called it out. And I know Dagger just got to join. The amount of damage that Tarpals gets to do from the setup, and the amount to push back, and the amount of times he gets to go is nuts.
Right. Hey, Dagger, glad you could make it. We're only a few minutes in on the video. We were just starting meta-analysis talking about the Gungans. I was just mentioning how, Padme was successful again for me this week. The only lose condition for that for that fight seems to be if they blow up your Padme. So if you have enough health to begin with, you should be okay, and then Shakti can heal her. And then, Sasha was talking about how he was using Treya successfully against the Jar Jar one. He did have that good luck. We were covering how, you can the fail condition there is if Treya gets blown up, and then Sasha was kind of opining on, I wonder if Tarpals with the Tarpals Kron would be a more formidable defense to specifically Treya. TJ was saying, well, maybe, but then that makes Padme probably even safer, and then you joined us. So do you have any insights on the Gungan matchup from this last week?
Well, first off, I heard everything you just said.
I didn't know when you joined.
Sasha.
Yeah, but you hadn't heard it twice, Dagger.
That's right. You're welcome.
You're right.
The words you were looking for were "thank you" for the recap.
Yeah, so my dumbass forgot times worked, and I wrote down 6 p.m. But it's 5 p.m. my time.
Yes, 5
So
p.m. because you're in a
10
different time zone.
why
Yes.
I'm here. Yeah. So time zones are dumb and hard, and that's why I was late. No, I don't actually have a lot to add to it. My first 2-round opponents didn't have Jar Jar, and I didn't play my 3rd round. Well, I did a couple of attacks just to test a couple things, but going 6-3 is a good enough reward for 3.
Okay, yeah, and so everybody else said how they did in the week. So how did you wind up? You went 2-1 or what?
I went 2-1 all 3 weeks. That is sufficient for me. I'll start 5v5 in like the 100s somewhere.
Dig that. Fair enough. Okay, well, yeah, we were just wrapping up on Gungans when you joined us, so I was going to move to the next meta matchup, and I don't know if you'll have something to add on after that. But Queen Amidala, at the end of week 2, I was thinking about whether or not I would be using Padme there. Because I had to use Bane there a couple times in week 2, and that felt bad when folks punished me by setting Slacker side by side with it, or you're setting it in the back behind, what have you. I've been setting Kelleran plus Mace plus something for the longest time now, and pulling that off of defense when I saw that folks were killing it easily, cheaply. Like I had an opponent that would use Kelleran with lesser Jedi and get a 57 on my Kelleran, and if I had set it. So I kept that and kept Mace, and JMK Cat Mace was an easy dunk on Queen Amidala. So you get to use your 3rd with JMK onto Cat ahead of Queen Amidala, getting to go perhaps hiding people in stealth. So immediately you just smite. I smited, what was it? I did smite Padawan Obi-Wan. I sat there in the fight and thought about it a second. Would it be better to take out the lead? No. Maybe without this Datacron on Padawan Obi-Wan with his enormous true damage potential, maybe you would say go after Queen Amidala. But in this case, I deleted Padawan Obi-Wan and cleaned up the fight easily, because anytime the others were hidden under stealth, Mace pulled one of them out and just fed them up to me. So I really liked that.
You're welcome. And let's just put a note out there that I gave Taz that information, but that was actually Gunn from Solo Base who decided to put it out, and that was where I got the information from too. So
good deal. No, I appreciate it. Yeah, and honestly, I would not have even used it if I had been just sticking to my guns about keeping Kelleran on defense. But I since I made that pivot, that enabled the counter, and yeah, no, no claim to inventing it for sure. I'm just here to evangelize.
No, it's just the whole point of saying why you watch the content creators, because you get good information. That's literally where it came from.
Amen.
So
Taz
got to use information that was intel that was gained from another content creator. I'm not claiming ownership, but that's why I try to tell everybody, watch your content creator. You might get something there, and that was a perfect thing. And Taz, as you said, how well was the fight, knowing that you went and killed Pal first?
It was butter.
Exactly. That's why you must feed your content creators. They give you good stuff, guys.
So, how about you guys? Any cool matchups on Queen Amidala this week? Any insights?
Adjusting to taking GMY solved the prot stack Queen Amidala problem.
Sorry, run that by me again. Where does Grandmaster come into this?
Grandmaster Xeris Padme versus Queen Amidala.
Oh, dig that. So I've not attempted that. I haven't really seen a lot of video for that kind of fight.
Yeah.
How is it that the fight works when you're dealing with the stealth, though? How does that fight, you're not ever running a risk of getting stuck just smacking decoy?
You ignore taunt, so Queen Amidala just dies.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, when everybody but decoy, if everybody but decoy is under stealth and you can ignore taunt, you could still only hit decoy, yeah? So how does it work?
Yeah, but you just wait for Queen Amidala to come out. Then you GMY spread. You kick her in the face. She dies, and then it just takes you like 2.5 minutes to kill everybody else.
Okay, so the Padme Cron allows you to bide your time. You're reducing so much damage. You're waiting for one of them to expose themselves, and then you just take them right out with a kick.
Specifically Queen Amidala.
Oh,
you need Obi-Wan to live because he procs your protection up.
Oh, he procs the protection up. Yeah, from the assisting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So on that, is this against? This is against the. This is Queen Amidala, Padawan Obi-Wan, and Master Qui-Gon
Yes.
with
Yes.
the um,
With the Obi-Wan.
with the
Yeah,
Obi-Wan
the full
Ron.
maxed
Okay.
out nasty.
Yeah. Yeah, I did it
I-
once. The other person I fought did not have the other two up and running, so they did like Padme lead Queen Amidala, and that was probably worse, but just GL'd it and moved on. I mean, worse to attack, right? Padme, Queen Amidala, Zaris. I was just like, oh, nope, we're just gonna GL that and move on.
Yeah. The issue that I ran into, because I was using that same one that I used successfully the prior week, and again, like if I were going to play to win and squeeze out risks, this is not the counter I would have tried. But I'm like, all right, first of all, I released this goofy thing into the wild. I'm responsible for it. I got to go rein it in. And I thought it would be pretty safe, which was Padme, Barriss, and GK. And in mine, I was able to take out Queen Amidala, but what surprised me, and this may be a matter of relics and like modding and stats on the DC, but the Padawan, I may have been the Master Qui-Gon. Actually, no, it's the Padawan Obi-Wan took out my R9 GK with an attack, one of its like just sort of basic attacks that go, I think it's a basic or maybe it's a special that goes under protection and one shot my GK.
I'm gonna echo this.
I'm not gonna pretend like my quality of opponent is the same quality of opponent as yours, Sasha. So
I hear you.
Take my success.
Yeah, mine. I found failure point on mine.
Well, I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna echo your opponent because I took the same thing, and I do think the relics have something to do with it, and I would want to see what the GMY looked like, Dagger. From your point, light side rules. He had the proper thing. He had everything set up correctly. I took the Padme GK to try it because I wanted to see what it was like. But my relics were not equal. It was Relic 7 Zaris at the time. Now she's Relic 8. And Relic 9 GK, Relic 8 Padme. It was exactly what you said, Sasha, in that Pal came after my Zaris. Under protection was dead. So it was just like, boop, there it goes. But it tracks what you're saying. I would be interested to see the GMY, but I just wanted to call that out to what Sasha said, that under protection from Palman is just murder, and not something I would probably want to attempt again. The way it felt.
Well, yeah, the first time I did the foresight into the under, and the second time I was able to do foresight for the prop up stacks.
That's nice.
Yeah,
Makes sense. No, I appreciate that breakdown, guys. I mean, that's all I really had to say on Queen Amidala, and as far as meta matchups go, I don't think I had anything else terribly inspiring this week. How about you guys? Anything else you guys wanted to cover? Anything catch your eye this week?
This week was honestly a little boring.
Okay.
I feel like it was solved last week.
If we're all settled, then we're settled. That's fine. Let's go ahead.
I really feel like that's the meta, and only SLK, right? I still think SLK
go ahead.
I think your call-out task, and I think it was one that I've watched it every time. I think Dagger, too, we had this conversation about the go first, go second. Man, that just rings true. That
We're referring to JML now?
JML going
second.
Yes. Preach on that.
So I have to reiterate that because I was already going to lose the fight, but I wanted to take I was already going to lose against Lightside, but I wanted to try this out, and I did happen to go second, and I was able to take a lesser comp, and it still worked fine with the JML. But it's right; it was just that call out going second, and then I watched one of the other content creators do the same thing.
Don't be cheap on us now. Don't hold out on us. Tell us how that worked.
Yeah, the reason why is that Slacker leads with stab, which dispels all your buffs. But if you go second and you get the efflux, you get crit immunity, which means Slacker doesn't build ult and he doesn't crit you for like 35 million damage.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that is the benefit to JML going second.
But that's what I'm saying, right? It's just it's not called a super lesser. It was still like JKC or something like that, but it wasn't. Okay. I didn't feel like I had to do it, and my cron was just okay. I didn't have 50% protection. I had some on there, and I want to say it was like 30 or something like that. So being able to take a lesser cron, and it was the full Monty, and it had like a huge amount of R-pin. It was a properly set up.
Now, when we say full Monty, you're talking Hux Crew or Hux Foss, right?
No, Hux Crew.
Okay. I mean, either one is very threatening, but certainly
but it didn't matter
Hux
because
there
Hux was dead.
makes
But that's what
a
I'm
real
saying.
problem.
Yeah. So having the Hux there to stop the turn meter and all that, but they were just dead. So once you go second,
I did it with
the win.
I did it with Cal and Shock and 40% prot.
Beautiful. Now,
I
I noticed
that,
the win rate was higher, even if you had lower prot on the set 14 Kron. If you had the Jedi 100% added damage, is that what you were using as well, Dagger?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
Yes,
that seems to have been part of it.
Efflux hurdy.
Yeah.
Making Efflux hurdy is a big deal.
I did, but I think I was in the 20 to 30 range on the prot. Like I said, it was not optimized where it would be like, this is your JML prot. This is just what I had. But I also did take the 100% level 6, though. I knew that was going to be a big deal because you're wanting to make sure whatever you actually have to somebody with actual stuff, they need to be big time.
Yeah. Fair enough. I mean, and we we have the experience to know that 100% damage bonus works for JML coin. Like that, I mean, it is real deal.
Yeah.
I myself, I just, where I was successful fighting that Slacker comp, I just went in with Bane plus something. I will say this though, because I got tied up needing to use C and Malik and Set to make sure that I could successfully get through a badass Inquisitorius team, I didn't have Set available to use with my Bane versus Slacker. So I was terrified about what happens if he just pokes Bane and he just stops existing. Somebody, I checked Insight, and Insight bailed me out again. Some clever bastard out there put Talon with Bane, right? I mean, it makes perfect sense. Yep. If he should get stabbed just about into non-existence, Talon will save his bacon. And I went and ran exactly that counter, and even though Bane didn't come anywhere near close to actually getting popped, as I had feared, we still covered our ass. Lost one relic level to his multiplier, because I have a relic 8 Talon as opposed to a relic 9 Set. But it was not determinant for the fight, and we just ran roughshod over the team right after Slacker's first turn. But I wanted to point out, I really wouldn't have thought about the usefulness of the application of Talon there. So that was slick. I don't know if you guys had any other Slacker insights.
Well, to speak on that point, I tend to use Set and 3s because you can sometimes get away with max banners.
Sure, yeah.
That being said, I use Talon as the second a lot. Because like you said, it's a savior, it's extra offense off the rip, it's extra health off the rip.
It's true.
Mm-hmm. So I use Talon a lot in 5, so it's always in like the back of my mind as an option at least. I'm glad you found it as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in 3s I like to use Set because the upside of having him survive is there. It's the same reason you use Set with like C. Right? It's the fact that he will survive a non-zero amount of the time is banners.
Right. A C solo.
Never survive.
You're exactly right. A C solo that you finish the fight with C at full health and no protection is a 58. With a C set, I have seen exactly what you're talking about, where if you do finish the fight with both of them alive, and you're talking Bane, but I'm thinking, never mind. Now I was going off on my own. I was thinking about how the C set thing can end you with a 58, but anyway, I was wandering off on my own.
No. So to your point, like, when I use C solos frequently, I feel pressured to ult just to close the fight out because he is so slow to ramp. Where with Set, I'm just like, I'm gonna sit here and middle. So I do end up with 58s with just a C plus Set because you don't have to transform with C Set. He just eats so much damage. Just to your point though, like, just having all these Sith is just so flexible on offense. Like, man, it's gonna really suck if we get Sith Crons again. Because I really like them not being cookie cutter. Because the current Sith Crons we have don't make them super cookie cutter. It doesn't scream, slam me on defense.
Well, I think you probably are safe for another 2 or 3 Datacron sets before we see Sith again. Because we have set 14 active. It will be the next set to go. But usually they're pretty good about that. They give you a couple 3 Datacron sets of break before you see the same faction return. So I hope you're right about that.
We may see like Sith Empire with some subset.
Fair enough. Sith Empire, fair enough. Yeah. Some subset thing. Yes. Fair point, Sasha.
Yeah, unless you're Inquisitors, but then you get a Datacron every single set.
As I say, don't forget Rebel Fighters. They love Saw too. Saw seems he's the only one. He didn't get this one time, but that dude has gotten Datacron sets in a row. I don't know how many times.
Okay, well, that's a good breakdown on the meta matchups for this third week. Let's go ahead and jump into offensive gambles. Dagger, I know that you are just full of free time. You're sitting around all day long, twiddling your thumbs, waiting for this podcast. So I know you've already got your notes together from A to Z, and I'm sure you're prepared right here, Johnny on the spot, to tell us your offensive gamble of the week.
All right, first of all, there's a lot of sarcasm in that, and I deserve all of it. Second off, this is definitely not me stalling while I'm thinking.
Yay!
It's a good call out. It's a good call out. I feel like you could have just said
Directly under the bus with you, sir.
I will say this, if I'm going to be completely honest.
Yeah.
My first 2 rounds, you can go look at my history on the first 2 rounds. When
No, I can't, because GG didn't update because they are bums today.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, like, almost everything was a risk my first 2 rounds because, like Cass alluded to sarcastically, I didn't check mods or datacrons my first this week, really. I was just like, all right, this counter has worked in the past. Let's go. So I also saved a ton of shit to just overkill. So I didn't really have too many risky fights, and I'll just kind of leave it at that.
All right. I'll come back to you because I want my pound of flesh. You get to pick one offensive gamble of the week, and I didn't quite hear that. So this cup will pass you by, but only just for now. TJ, how about you? Your offensive gamble of the week.
I'll call it 2 only because, and it's not taking the thing. We just talked about Padme, so I tried my Padme on the Queen, and then that was a gamble I wanted to see where I got beat up. So. Offensive gamble. The other one that I did, and we talked about it, been working all season, but didn't work this time. Sit on BKM. Normally that was a pretty clean fight. I think the only thing that would make the difference is that was the tenacity up level 3. I guess caused the fight because I couldn't get to the stacks. No matter what I did, they went fast enough, so I didn't even think about it. And you know how that goes. It's that one little change, but man. Either call it the 15% of what you get. It's going to be the match. All the stuff that can go wrong is going to go wrong. But that gamble went very wrong.
No, I think that's smart. Because there are the Sidious fights where you just end up basicking, using basic to smite the enemy as opposed to trying to ramp up the 5 stacks of dot. That BKM counter is definitely one of those where you're going for the 5 stacks of dot. So that Dispel on level 3 would just put a hard pin in that.
Too fast. Because of what's just called IG-12 being there, being that fast to help you fast enough, it kept cleansing it. So I kept getting close, even with the basics. I tried to keep it a couple different ways. I could not get anybody there and close me out. So that was my one where I was like, all right, tough lesson to learn. It's going to be one of those types of matches, which it was. But yeah, that was my big one.
No doubt. All right. Sasha, how about you? Gamble of the week. It could work. It might not have worked, but it was your gamble.
Yeah, really the only thing that's kind of close to noteworthy was I faced, Cyrus said, a JMK Padme Cat squad, which is a pretty cool defensive one. I mean, pretty costly too, because we've been spending a lot of time talking about Padme's potential on offense. And I again, like kind of in the spirit of just having fun being like out there, I set a back wall against Cyrus that was all 5 GLs in that I'm just at this point I was just going to throw it all out there. So I was limited on options, you might say, when it came to this. And my best bet I felt was using C, and the data didn't look too great with C, but I had done it previously, ironically against his same comp, like his same like the week before, the exact same characters. But I used C, Armorer, and GBA. And what was interesting is kind of a learning out of it is the Padme Datacron that he set had the protection, disruption. Level 6, which also is the ignore taunt, right? And it was fascinating. I have no Sith in that comp, right? So there's no deceived benefit that forces them to target somebody other than C. And They took armor out, I think, basically as the game was loading. Like, the thing just disappeared. But then went all in on C. And I was left, I haven't seen this in a long time, but I was left with a GBA and Geo Brute there, wondering what the hell had happened. So that was impressive.
Wow.
The Datacron had like 300%, I think, armor pen. But
that sounds like our boy Cyrus. Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
As one does.
But yeah, exactly. And it was another like similar to the Padme counter to Queen Amidala that I used the previous week, where that felt okay. That felt pretty smooth. I think I'll try it again. And then I got paid. I was punished badly for that cockiness. So, Yep, that was mine.
I mean, for my part, so Leia Drogan R2 has been largely successfully beaten by GG Stat B1. I have a very well set up GG Stat B1, but I hadn't attempted it yet this 3vs3 season, and I do know this. Where it does lose, it loses because they manage to blow up your stat, right? So I took my stat to Relic 9 for this third week, and we didn't get blown out. We got to yellow health, I think, and then I ended up restoring and finishing out for a 56. So that was great.
They win?
Sorry, GG Stat B1 versus... Sorry, what did I say? I said
No, you're right. No, my question is, they actually went?
They did, I want to say, but what I wanted to point out was I watched one of my patrons do this fight, and they lost their stat. Their stat was only Relic 7, fine, maybe even at Relic 8 itself it would have lost, but I know for those of us right up here in the top ends fighting people that have super tricked out Datacrons with extreme stats and stuff, maybe your Relic 8 stat could be challenged by that, and that the choice to take him up to Relic 9, put him in the health cross, has him up over 80,000 health. So after that first use of his third, he gains 20% health. He's 96,000 health after that first use. That's going to give him the durability he needs to stick around. So I don't know if that'll be.
I'm confused though.
Hold on. Just put him in a health cross. When the cron rotates, this won't be reliable anyways. Don't R9 him because it won't work after the cron.
The cron anyway.
Yeah, well, I was going there anyway. I was going to say, like, the Relic 9 is arguable for its application, but I specifically wanted to shield against this, and whether or not the Relic 8 was what saved me today, or if it was the added survivability from the 9, I don't think it was. I still felt super duper safe.
Really quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
All I'm saying is there's 15 total people in this game who should consider an R9 stat.
Yes.
Okay.
Literally no one listening to this unless you...
All right.
Yes.
That's not what I'm asking.
Carry on.
That's not what I'm trying to ask.
Do not do that.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Okay, hold on. The Datacron gives you the target lock to stop. Well, I'm trying to get to the fucking point, but you guys keep cutting it off. I'm trying to understand how anybody actually went. If you're properly set, and if that's the point that they get to go and that's how you lose, okay, I'll hear you out. Every time I've done this, all season I've looked at it, she never goes, and by the time they can even start to take a turn, she's dead. And then it's just finish it off and just finish the fight. So I'm trying to understand.
It's a fair question. The simple answer is usually it's just, if you're going to lose the fight, it's Leia's third onto Drogan, kill,
right.
And then your stack gets blown up.
So she's gone is the point, basically, because I was like, in mine, she's never even gotten to take a turn, like literally zero. And we're talking proper 570 speed. So that's what I'm trying to understand.
They maybe get 1 or 2 turns total when I've done it, but
I agree with that.
It's got to be more of a mod issue. It's more of a mod issue than it is a
relic
anything else, in my opinion.
I mean, that's fair. Mine doesn't have it, but I've got 80% health. So it's like you start with the target lock. So you do your third. You open up with the third onto GG. GG hits in. Target lock is there. You've now started the TM train. Were you not doing that, or you did something different, Tess, where because she never goes for me, and that's what I'm trying. Like I'm flabbergasted. Like
I think I started off with Staps middle.
Okay, that's why. Okay, now I'm starting to track. I think then that's
you lead with the call to assist.
Right. That's
you
the
put
difference.
On the target lock, and you call GG to hit the target lock.
Right.
That gives your entire team 10% turn meter, GG gains 20%, or no, it's 18% or something like that.
It's double
And then
the
it's
thing.
just off to the races.
That's what I'm
it's
saying.
double what the other ones get.
But
well,
now
wait
I'm
a
starting
minute.
to
Wait a
track.
minute. You're saying if you're starting the fight with Stap going first because he's got that bonus turn off rip, and he's calling General Grievous. He's not calling General Grievous onto a target locked target because nobody else would have applied it.
He is.
What are you talking about?
Yes, he is the level 6.
Yeah.
Remind me. Well, what am I misremembering?
They get target locked
level
to start the
6
fight.
At the start of each separate turn, a random enemy does
That's what I'm trying to say.
Lock.
I'm not. This is going to be irrelevant when Datacron goes.
Sure.
Yeah.
But you start with third with Stap onto GG, the fight is over. They never go. That's why I'm like, I don't know how your person went. Because in my fight,
so it does go on to one person. Okay,
right,
it goes on to one.
But remember,
random person who doesn't have it.
Yeah.
Remember,
and you just target that person.
Right, and
to get the little
over,
TM boost off that.
I literally, I don't even take the point of, I don't care who they get the target lock. I just focus on Leia, first move, and then I stay on Leia. Leia never takes a single turn, even with my 3 characters. She never goes.
Well, that's fine, but to Dagger's
logs.
point, like the benefit of following the target lock is to force the turn meter back in.
But this is what I'm trying to tell you. It's like, even if I'm not, I still start on Leia, and I've never had her go. That was it. That's why I'm trying to go.
Yeah,
so it's like,
I'm with TJ. Like, Leia will pull her logs, and that's the only turn she gets.
Oh, I don't even have that.
I have her take like one. Oh, I do. I don't have 80% health. My GG does not one-shot the sides like yours probably does.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what I said. I'm not calling it not having the luxury of it. And again, this will be...
Yeah.
Will we have another threes? Will we have another threes with this? I don't think so, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
No, we won't.
Okay.
Wait, hold on.
You can look at it.
We have another threes with this?
It'll tell you on the thing, but either way, it may not even be a point of an issue.
Wait, when does
No,
this
we
end?
don't. No, we don't.
28 days. No, that was the end of this one, yeah.
Okay, so this is irrelevant then. We can just...
By the time we come back for next threes, yeah.
Yeah, it won't matter.
This is highly unlikely to work in threes next 3v3 season.
Yes.
No, don't do this, please. Don't
try the GG against Leia next
unless droids get something in the next set.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't think this is gonna work.
Maybe.
That target lock thing was huge, man. For this, that target lock, that stab thing, just stupid good. Yeah.
Sorry for the derailment and all the.
No. I would consider it more an expansion than a derailment, but that's exactly what we're trying to do here, so that's fine. How about this, guys? Wait! I can't forget Dagger. Dagger, did you have a specific offensive gamble, you son of a bitch?
You will get no blood from this stone.
Poke the bear.
So no, I can't think of one. I'm sorry.
All right, that's all right.
prepared.
Everything was pretty smooth for you. Nothing felt like it was even a little risky. All right, fair enough.
You shut the hell up, TJ.
That's right.
Am I lying, Dagger? Don't be a dick about it. Like, I can call it up.
The last round I didn't play for sure.
See?
All right. Well, let's move to standout defenses then, guys. You know what? In the spirit of keeping things fair and not putting too much pressure on Dagger immediately, fuck you. Go, Dagger. How about your key defense for the week? How about that?
Oh, Slacker in the back. Slacker in the back was hilarious.
Yeah? Did you talk to any opponents to figure out what they tried against it? Because we don't have GG to check here. So
No, I didn't. But I would have to assume it was the Leia and Rey up front to draw Bane.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. So they were without Bane. Yep.
Yeah, that would have to be my guess. And my Slacker, I put in an offense set this last week, so he was a blazing 520 speed.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
dude. That slap is gonna hurt.
That's actually an incredibly meta observation that we did not make earlier. I think specifically we were talking about how having your Slacker slower makes life difficult for JML, but specifically in detail. I've been seeing opponents set offense and health modded Slackers relatively very slow to impede that JML, but they're huge, right? We're talking health primary arrow, 200,000 plus health, starting out with 13, 12, high 12s, low 13,000 damage, something like that. Real serious affair. So I know what you're talking about, and that modding is still going to be valid for next 3v3 season for sure.
Yeah, four health primaries offense set, health set.
So you went for
No, not even
health
crit damage
over a crit damage triangle.
Only plenty of damage.
You kind of broke up there, but you were saying that you don't feel like Slacker's going to be without damage.
No,
Yeah.
Dude.
That level 6 is absurd.
One, you can also
Yeah.
one, it stacks crit damage on the level 6.
It
2,
does.
you can literally just put all your crit damage on the Kron if you want. So you don't even have to have it because you know what? Just stack it there. It's like, all right, you know what? You get to level 8, and that will be my 50% crit damage.
Remember, Slacker also has armor pen and defense pen, so he doesn't actually benefit that much from armor pen.
Yeah, dude, I think I've got 50% offense. It's like subsequently rolled that way on my Slacker Kron just for whatever reason. That's how it rolled out. It's just stupid, and then it's still got armor pen like crazy. No crit damage for whatever reason, but it's like, who cares? The amount of damage he's gonna put off of this thing, he is the scariest dude on the face of the earth.
Well, how about you, TJ? What was your best defense of the week?
Dude, I the one who did it all, Malgus.
Oh, tell
Malgus
us about that. How did you set that up?
Okay. So because we're all so used to saying it, I talked to you, Tass, right? I'm like, you know what? Nobody saw it when I put it week 2 because I did it round 3, right? I'm like, I'm gonna keep this to see what it does. Light side fought me. Only thing he lost to, Malgus. I go against my other dude, which wasn't, I wouldn't call it a fair fight, but he had good stuff. He kept enough of the right things. Only thing he drops to in the back, Malgus. And so it's like the Malgus with the Kron right now, and the setup with the debuffs, and putting Marauder with BSF, because I did the split, right? I wasn't going to keep the others. Super holds. Like, we're talking like...
The reason that works... Sorry, I was going to add on to that, but go ahead, sorry.
No, it's like remember, I have that super health Kron, right? And I've got the Sith bypass. So all of this together, my Malgus is 235, 240k health on 300 speed still. So, and not having to worry about a taunt, and he's attacking your max health damage. Just like, dude, you're just in for waiting. Can you beat him in time before he just deletes your team? And it did.
Yeah, I was talking with Zid about this last week, about how Malgus is good because people don't have Cal free anymore.
You got it. You got it.
If you split your DR and your Cal, like DR, like DR, Talon, Savage, whatever, if you split your Sith like that, they have to use their Cal with JKR versus with their Cal with JKR, with JML, against either Lord Vader or against Slacker, whichever one you set. So they don't have that tool in their toolbox. So they have to figure out a different way to kill that.
Yeah. It really, like I said, in the back was a great spot for him, for me this week.
Back wall the split. It was really good for me too. I mean, they both got one shot, but like the bot told me it was like for 50s and 51s. So they did their job.
No one shot, man. 2 shots the whole way through when it came to Malgus, man. I was super proud of the dude. He did real well.
I like that. That's a great idea. And Malgus has been... I mean, I've enjoyed, since he came out, Malgus on defense, but I'd say the last couple of seasons we've been pivoting him to offense. So finding a good use for him to return to defense and be effective is exciting. I like that.
With no more Seer on defense, and there's no chance that he's beating these Inquisitor Datacrons, I'm 100% in TJ's camp here, where I think it's back to defense.
I will still argue this point.
Low.
I still argue this point. If you've got the Kron, and I've said it with Sasha, and I'll say it, I will die on this hill. Malgus does kill the Inquisitors if you have the right Kron. But again, you need the right setup. I will
80% health.
No, Sasha, you're at 65%. 60%.
Yeah, mine was like 62%.
I think
very highest is 35%.
No,
I also think that's probably some sample size bias, TJ, because you can go look up that win rate on GG, and it ain't no 100.
I do not think it's 100.
It's bad. It's really bad.
Yeah.
I think you have to be with that level. It has to be that limited thing. Like
I can't sort on GG to filter for crons that have 80+% health, but I filter the right 3, 6, 9. I go look at the crons on the individual results and still see some pretty decent crons failing that. So I wonder if that isn't partially due to sample size. Like, I believe you could pull it off. I wonder how consistently you can pull it off.
Okay, but now I would say this. I've completed it every time. I know Sasha can. I think you could. Can I see it being a thing where there's option to fail? Absolutely. Did I have to massage my fight and it was the full 5-minute fight? Absolutely. Was I having to, like, I made decisions during the fight knowing what I was doing, where like I could do the big bonk or some pull and I was like, no, I need to put the tenacity down so I can put the taunt off because she's going to do the big rip. I was making choices in between the fights. So yes, you're right.
So this is where TJ's telling us that thing from Anchorman where it works 100% of the time, 60% of the time.
80%. Thank you, because I have 80% health, dick.
80 for 80. There you go.
So that battle aside, like the Inquisitors comp aside, like the Malgus thing is really interesting because I agree it was set up, and I thought about this. I did not set my Malgus on D, but I thought about putting it either in the back wall or on the front wall to draw a GO, because you're right, it's not in sort of most people's economy now to have like a completely separate Jedi Knight Cal. But the reason I kept it on offense is I still, Inquisitors aside, felt that there were these really challenging, like for me, painful targets to deal with that Malgus did great with. And that was
100% agree.
Yeah, Malgus does great against, or very, very well against GG Staff. I mean, you may lose a side or two, but like I've grown accustomed to losing points against GG Staffs. And then the other one that it does well with, that is still spectacular, like, I mean, until that Datacron fades, but that's the Finn, Resistance Hero Finn, Zori. That's like those, it's great. So Malgus clears those out really nicely. And then, you know, in other cases, I also like that if you're playing a really heavy defense, if you hold Malgus and your sort of, you know, assortment of Sith, you can mix that stuff up. Like I had one match, not this week, and it was 2 weeks ago, where I took, I held my Sith and Sith Empire, and so I needed an extra squad on offense, and I separated Malgus, Talon, and like Marauder from DRBSF Malak, and DRBSF Malak were able to take GG Staff again with like you know, a lot of blood all over the place, but it gives you multiple squads. So I agree it's a beastly defense, but I mean I felt too like addicted to it on offense to give it up this week.
Now I'm going to comment to agree with you 100%, Sasha, because I loved Malgus on offense. The only reason I did it, and I talked to Tass, is needing to put something that's going to be formidable enough on like the back wall or something like that when you're getting to that really strong 10 to the 15th setup of teams. And you know as well as I do, and nobody plays it really. You just don't see Malgus on defense anymore, or you're prescribed for what it's at. So if you don't really set it, putting it in the back wall is that great tada of, oh, shit, I don't have Cal right now. I don't have that.
If I may hop in really quick. Oh, never mind. Sasha's hopping out. But I was going to ask him a question.
No. Go right ahead, Darius. Go right ahead.
So I'm gonna hijack the end segment just because I want to get your take on it really quick.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the gift-only Master Qui-Gon Datacron?
It's not, buddy. It's gone. It's been confirmed. It's a Datacron and 20 Master Qui-Gon shards. It was confirmed by Sig. We can. I already had to tell Tass. We can. I thought the same thing, and I was ready to soapbox with you. It is not for the gift.
Okay, thank God.
They give you a cron. No, and that's like, you know what? As you were, sir. Thank you for clarifying.
But since Sasha has to wrap up and take off here, let's get his best defense and then quickly get his takeaway and final thought here on the end of the season. So, Sasha, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so best defense, I really don't have anything to go by. I had 2 full matches over the last 2 weeks, and I was one shot in the entirety of each of those. Cyrus did a nice job. So I don't really have a defense that I'd call out. I guess if I were to sort of like abstract that a bit, or like just sort of like make it a generalization, it would be late in seasons, as is often the case, like people just have so much figured out, it's hard to stop somebody, because as I've already mentioned, like in my last match, I set 5 GLs in the back wall, and I'm trying to recall what I said up front, but it was not light. Point being, you know, I think there are a lot of offensive tools out there. There's still, I think, good defensive options, but great players will get you. And then from the overall side, you know, is moving away from like threes, but I mean, do you want me to look a little more prospectively into fives? I know we'll do some more on it, but that was a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, we'll think. I mean, if you want to think about a lesson from 3 versus 3 that you're looking forward to applying in fives, that's fine. But usually we're covering that in the preview video. So if you want to include a thought like that, that's fine. But any conclusive lesson from threes that you're looking to apply next time we head back into threes?
Yeah, I guess like some of the biggest stuff, and this is ground we've covered a bit, but like I'm a huge fan of of what that Padme level 9 and the Proc Disruption level 6 Kron can do on offense. And I know I probably pushed it too far, taking it against Queen Amidala, but like the survivability is incredible there, and it's like I think that is going to. I think that's going to have high potential. And I was thinking about this, and I'm not going to do it, but Dagger almost sort of accidentally pushed me over the edge. I was thinking about crazy stuff of like GMY, who's a support character, to R9, like to just make him crazy thick so that he'd be able to survive more. Barris was high on my list as an R9, and maybe like the next one, because for her as I can't remember if she's healer or support, but either way, her health gets
healer.
super juiced.
Yeah, she's a healer.
Yeah. So that Kron combo, and that's why like I mentioned, I faced an opponent who combined JMK Cat and that Padme. I think that's awesome, but I think that just has so much potential on its own that was a big theme of mine. And I think that's probably it. I don't have the time because I was light on data points this week.
No, that's completely fair. Well, hey, I appreciate you throwing that in, and if you got to take off, thanks for joining us as always.
Of course. All right, take care, guys.
All right, take care. All right, well, let's go ahead. Before we do the wrap up, I wanted to cite my standout defense. This is. I have a sneaking suspicion what happened here, but I won't be able to know for sure until I check swugga.gg. So I was fighting an opponent who didn't happen to have the Tusken Raider Omicron. And because, if an opponent has that, they're generally setting it on defense. But if I see that they're keeping it flexibly for offense, they're almost always keeping it to run roughshod over a turn meter team, most typically something like Rex Crex 5s, which otherwise demands a fairly serious solution. I see a lot of people use Malgus to kill that team, for example. Not saying it isn't overkill, I'm just saying it happens commonly enough. That said, without him having that Raider Omicron, I set Rex Crex 5s side by side with Gas Arc Echo, and wouldn't you know it, he had to withdraw on the first attempt, so I wonder if that's a GAR ISC gone wrong with the Dispel from the Arc turret. And then he went back in, killed both sides with something else, and then a third shot, which is probably Wampa in the end, to finish off Gas properly. Very rare to have that.
I thought Wampa would be the sides. I thought Wampa would be the sides.
Could be. There's a variety of things that could deal with the man solo, sure.
I only bring that up because I've seen Wampa beat a handful of gases this season already. The Arc Echo, not the Rex 5s. That doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, generally the Arc Echo is very vulnerable to something like Wampa. But I did run this with a set 14 Jedi double damage level 6 with, I want to say, 40+% offense on the Kron. So very serious threat lined up for that. And yeah, it isn't usually a strong defensive performer for that reason, that like Wampa could otherwise take it out. But, I wish I had the data to check, but my guess is that, historically you've been able to take something cheaper against that gas comp and be successful, and that did not work for that opponent. So I would be curious to know what he used. And like Sasha, I didn't have a whole lot of defenses holding out, but that one stood out because it's so rare that it does at all. You trying to say something?
I mean, I was in the I'll say I was in the 200s and I didn't have like very much hold either. So like that's kind of Sashi hit the nail on the head when he said like this is week 3. People already have their shit down now.
Yeah. Fair. All right, so you didn't have any standout defense to speak on. How about you, TJ?
I already did. I said slacker. We had,
oh yeah. That's right. I'm cycling back through. That's right. That's right. I'm used to going last. That's right. I should be doing.
We are
that.
on the lessons learned, sir.
That's right. It is lessons learned time. All right. Well, all right, Dagger, smart ass. What's your lesson learned? What are your final thoughts going in? To the end of or at the end of the season. What are you thinking about for the next threes? What lessons have you learned? What you got?
I had an epilogue that would get me canceled, seeing as it's June, because I was going to make a joke, but I won't.
No, yeah, you won't.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
I'm super proud of you.
Yeah, that February one I did, I can't be doing that shit no more.
I would do that.
No, I would say... This 3v3 was season. I talked about this last 3v3 season, and I will say that I actually enjoyed most of this 3v3 season because I didn't take it seriously, or as seriously. You guys know I didn't show up as much to the plotting and scheming, and part of that was lack of free time, and part of that was lack of motivation to change anything and just do my fights and dick around and just try to have fun somehow. Save teams I like, set teams I don't like on defense.
Mm-hmm.
So I will just say like it was interesting playing an entire season to just like try to have fun.
Okay.
And going 6-3 while doing it is also a bonus. But yeah, I don't feel as taxed. Usually after 3v3 season, I feel very taxed.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's just my real life that makes me feel that. But I will just say I enjoyed 3v3, and this is the first time I can remember enjoying 3v3 in a very long time.
Very good.
So I appreciate the people around me forcing me to interact with this shitty game mode and find ways to enjoy myself.
All right. Fair enough. How about you, TJ? Your final thoughts, lessons learned. What are you taking away?
Just to know that, like, we just had this big debate about Malgus, right? Well, now going into the next threes, I don't think Malgus has what it takes anymore. I know he's there, but he's not the there that I have and I've been relying on all season. Right?
Yeah, you mean as an offensive counter to use the Sith thing to ignore taunts and stuff?
Right? So we talked about the Reva. So the things to take away are these gnome ones that I know are going to do good or whatever. The bypassing the taunt. I think we take it for granted. Also, I know Bane is great, but Bane is really great with this Kron, and that's gone come next threes, right? But guess what's still here? Super SLK. And we have these other teams that are still monsters that are going to maintain to be monsters. So going back into where it's like, oh, we'll just take this. It's like, well, that's not the case. I don't get to come back and tell you and keep saying the same thing about dying on the hill of Malgus, because having the 45% is cool, but I don't think that's standing up. Like we talked about needing 60% health, right? Well, you're not getting that really off of this set now. So I'm kind of nervous. It's like all these work, and these in bypassing taunt. It's like, oh, you're taunting. Well, I don't care about that. So we're going to go kill you with this.
So if his power is diminished by this Kron, that for me that would almost imply that he would end up having more use on defense. Like if
that's what I think. All of these like the Sith bypass taunt and and these other pieces were really nice, and I think we took it for granted. It's like doubt, right? Doubt we took for granted, but now it's not here. So it's going to be interesting when we come back to the start of threes and we still have these super guys and these super comps, and it's like, what do you do against them now, right? Because it's just look at Treya. Treya was bypassing taunt, and she was taking like, we'll take this, doing all that. So it's like it's kind of scary now.
Very fair. For my part, for lessons learned, Seer Malicos and Starkiller is really great against this Raycron. Obviously, when we come back to the next threes, we won't have to deal with the Raycron, but you still will have to deal with Ray. And maybe just regular Starkiller will work come next time. But, thinking about this fork where we were just talking a couple seasons ago how Bane felt like overkill. Like adding him into the meta meant that we had another win harder button. Like in a meta that felt like we already had too much. Now, over the last couple of seasons, things have evolved such that there's stress placed on these so-called overpowered kill counters, right? because you're having more overpowered defenses emerge. So next season, you're going to have to think about which counters you've been relying on that were dependent on Datacron's set 14, and if if you were losing your set 14 cron that went with that preferred counter, think about how you can pivot in, a set 15 cron to make use of that. So that's the tip. And I think, what is it? By the time we come back to next threes, though, we'll be farming for the first week of set 16. Yeah.
I actually want to echo what you said right there, because I think this is something people may not think about during this conquest.
Sure.
That just started. You hit on it. I just want to reinforce it.
Please.
There are going to be datacrons rotating, so use this time to develop a couple of datacrons for those important teams who are losing crons, just in case they don't get their gap filled in the next set.
Yeah. But that said, when we do come back to this next set, we'll have Datacron set 16 just coming online. So that'll be for your first week. You'll have 1 week of conquest farming done when we go into week 1 of 3 versus 3, yeah?
That is generally the case, yes.
Okay, yep. All right. Any other final thoughts you guys want to throw out? Yeah, go ahead.
I figured I'd change it up since it's Pride Month. And I will just say, I really appreciate the range of colors you use in your hats. You should add more colors to your range of hats.
I see. I'll keep that in mind. I appreciate your insight there. Thank you. All right, guys. Well, it's been fun here, and we've arrived at the end of another season of 3 versus 3. Let's go ahead and start to wrap this one up. First things first, if you want to catch me live, check me out on twitch.tv/Tassinix. Obviously, you're watching this show on YouTube, so you're already aware of the Tassinix Gaming YouTube channel. If you're liking this video, please give it a like, and hit subscribe to see more from this channel. Got plenty of other Swugger-related content you might be interested in. Including, my past VODs uploaded with chapters added for easy browsing. I have Datacron set videos that I make with Aesop Rock, one of the best players in the game. Current videos are up for sets 14 and 15. We will have a new video up in time for the next 3 versus 3 for that upcoming set. Of course, Plotting and Scheming releases on YouTube and, of course, as well on Spotify, YouTube podcasts, etc. And last but never least on YouTube is my latest series, my Mod Guide series. Been very popular, very well received by you folks, so really appreciate the encouragement there. But that is also only on YouTube, so be sure to check all of that out. And of course, if you like the cut of my jib, you want to support the stream, you want to support the channel, over and above, just giving a like and subscribe, by all means, check out my Patreon. That's the wrong button. Check out patreon.com/Tassinix. For any upwardly mobile GAC player, there's something of interest to you. $5 gets you into the TAS house. You get early access to, my Datacron set videos and to Plotting and Scheming, which can help you have a few things dialed in before you do that first round of the week. Let's, call out the folks that took that plunge and thank them. At VIP Access, we've got Andrew, White Wolf, Sam Vines, Jobin4527, Stark Strategy Gamer, Raise Malbus, Brock Thudsteel, Renee Bebe, Deadpool Kyle28, Johnny B. Ottawa, JJ's Productions Twitch, Sweens14, and Darth QPPMG. Stepping up to the $10 tier is VIP Access Plus. That gets you a bundled Patreon membership to me and to OmegaBot Patreon. If you watch my streams, I always run a OmegaBot report on my opponent. It gives you a powerful at-a-glance view of their strengths, weaknesses, preferences. And being an OmegaBot Patreon allows you to pull a custom number of weeks, more than just the last 2, which is what any free user could have. But thank you so much to Stryker and Esh Sotnikam taking that deal. At $15 a month, you get the Double Bot Bundle. That's VIP Access Premium. You get OmegaBot Patreon and Hot Utils, as well as membership to the TAS House. So if you're not familiar with Hot Utils, of course, that is the premier tool for mass mod management, for loadout management. You can just switch around your entire roster in just a couple of clicks between what you need for raids, for territory war, for territory battles, what have you. So thank you so much to Quig, Ibanek, Sir Boss, Trevor Boy Gaming, and Funky for taking that deal. At the top of the heap, Jester's Club Elite holds the one and only Nomad's Reaper. This guy comes in from time to time on the stream, drops hundreds of subs, thousands of biddies on the community. Extraordinary generosity and support over the years. Thank you so much, man. And of course, last but never least, our special thanks to Yoda Force, one of my original supporters back in the day, got me the mic that I'm speaking to you on right now. He has long since quit the game, but we wish him well from the other side. To Mrs. T, my wife, thank you so much for your background work, updating these slides, keeping Lizzie out of my hair while I'm trying to be decent at a phone video game. And of course, it boggles the mind that I should ever forget to thank these gentlemen, but Dagger, TJ, and Sasha Isha, my co-hosts here on Plotting and Scheming, you guys get your fill of seeing me jawjack by myself, whether it's on my other videos or on my stream. Can't thank these guys enough for setting the time from their busy work and family schedules to make our show. It is all the better for their additions. Thank you guys so much for making it work. All right. Coming back around, so this closes out the 3 vs 3 season. Next week, keep your eyes tuned for the 5 vs 5 preview episode of Plotting and Scheming. That is, our in-between episode is usually a bit longer. Our normal podcast is about an hour. This one usually runs about 2. And we do have a special guest that we will have, so we'll have some questions, pick that individual's brain, get their insights. I know you guys are going to be excited about who that special guest is, so stay tuned. But until next time, it's been real. It's been awesome. It's been real awesome. Take care.
Bye, girl.